Thank you so much for joining us on KBmtv. This is KBmtv, and of course, we are coming to you live from Mount Kenya University. We are in the office of Dean of Students, where we get to talk to him about a lot of things in terms of the Mkusa Constitution, as well as Mkusa leadership here in the university. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're glad that you're watching. Welcome to the program. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
You're welcome.
Let me start with the first question that I would like us to begin with on this conversation. In terms of Mkusa Constitution, is Mkusa Constitution a binding legal document?
Mkusa Constitution is a guiding factor for the students' management and leadership. It was generated from the university charter and statutes. And also it has to go in line with the University Act. If it is not, it is under the University Act, there are certain things which has been guided for student leadership. Therefore, some of those things have to be put in the Mkusa Constitution. And Mkusa Constitution is normally student-driven document for the purposes of making their leadership easier and also to serve the students. It's a service document and a guideline to the students in MKU.
The reason I ask this question is because we've seen in different instances whereby some of the provisions of the constitutions have not been followed. Like, for example, if you look at Article 49 of the Constitution, it's about Articles J and K on nomination of candidates. It talks about for chairperson's post, right? The contestants must have a minimum of 10% of signatures of Mkusa members in their respective campuses. For other contestants, it's 5% of nomination. For nominations. So the question I would ask is, in line with these provisions of the constitutions, can any person or anyone or a group of people break this constitution?
This constitution, when it was developed earlier on, it did not include certain amendments which was done in November 2016 of University Act. And it says, which is not in the constitution, but is a part of a guiding document. It's not in the constitution, but the act is a part of the guiding document for student leadership, where it says for a student must be a bona fide student, a current bona fide student. For student leadership, they gave 3 or 4 positions which are mandatory. Chair, the vice chair. If the chair is a lady, then the chair must be a man. And this, if also the secretary and the treasurer, where we in the constitution it says the secretary general. Then also in the constitution it says the finance secretary. Then it gives a provision of a maximum of 3 positions as per the students' interests. Now, when they were developing this within, so that they can have the student leadership within that, which was put in the constitution later, or given a rider. it says the students chose to have academic minister and entertain social welfare and academics and sports. That was their choice. But you cannot have a maximum. You cannot have more than 7 representation. And let it be very clear. There is also the part of constituent colleges and also campuses on representation of the students in student leadership. It is very clear in the University Act what is expected. So previously, where there was a case where you could choose the students by not through the college system, it was where it was being asked, can you have a certain percentage? But that one has been taken over by the University Act. So that is the guide. So that one is no longer relevant. We have instituted a way, we have asked the Mkusa through the chair, the vice chair, to start a process of changing that constitution because it's no longer relevant.
This particular provision?
Yes, it's no longer relevant.
Although it is in the constitution and we have had elections before, while it is there.
We have had, but I've told you we are using the, apart from the constitution, you have to include the University Act. So we are using 2 documents to guide.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as you say, as you talk about University Act of 2016,
of 2012, amended in 2016. Yes.
Now the amended one is
yes.
one I want us to drive our interest to.
Yes.
Because in its section 41, the Act talks about every student council, universities being elected in accordance with this Act and its membership, and reflecting national diversity. That's aside. Let's talk about the composition of every student council. University here, we've got only 1 lady out of 7 members of the council. The University Amendment Act of 2016 provides that there shall not be more than 2/3 of its members being of the same gender.
Yes.
So my next question would be, is our Mkusa Council legally constituted?
It is legally constituted right from the beginning. If you look at what was the composition of the delegates, it is still on the process. The constitution, the delegates had different genders, and that's why they put, apart from the leadership, they look at the process of what they look at the process on the composition of the delegates who are in the college. And if you look at it and you look at the list, it was balanced.
But this one is a bit very specific. A student council. A council is not an organization, like for example we have Mkusa.
Yeah, I understand.
Is the organization.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But have you, up to now, unless or otherwise, we put it in the constitution, we'll use the college system to determine who is there, apart from the 2, which is very specific positions, chair and the vice chair. One is, if one is a lady, the other one must be a man.
Of course, that is what is provided for here.
Yes, it's provided.
It's in the amendment of in the Investment Act of 2016.
Yes.
It's provided for.
Yeah.
And talks about 3 other members being nominated
Yeah.
to represent special interest.
You and me know that even the country, despite the fact that this is also in our national constitution, we have never achieved that. And we are striving to achieve it.
And in this case here at university, I'm sure it is quite achievable, isn't
it? It is achievable in that, have you looked at the composition of the students who have been elected? All the campuses.
All the campuses?
Yes.
I have got some information, but I want us to confine ourselves.
No, I've got the list, and I know that near half of the students who are student leaders are both genders.
That could be true, but they cannot break the law because of people not following the law to be like them. That's
no. I'm telling you, it is not breaking the law. It is the student. If we include all the representation of the students' governance in the university, they have both genders equal, like half. I can give you the list, and if you, well, according to you, what is the students' council?
From what is defined in our constitution.
No, what is the student? According to you, not what is defined. According to you, what's the student council?
I think it's a body of students representing, or a body of who have represented representing.
Yeah.
They have the general members of the student organization at the university.
That's right. It's a council which helps run and give service to the students. Okay. It's a group of students elected through the process, and they are representing. Right now, the representation, we have about 35 students, leaders all over MKU. Representing, in the main campus we have 7. The other campuses we have 5,000 students, where there are 3. And you look at the combination, within that, there are equal numbers. So there is equity in terms of gender. And also I've checked further, there's also equity in terms of representation of various ethnical groups or regional groups. There's also equity in terms of vulnerables. The vulnerables are people like the challenged. There's equity.
I would like to ask you this question, which still touches on the constitution, on the number of delegates per school department. Article 7 talks about still there shall be a minimum number of 3 delegates and a maximum of 15 per department or school.
That is not in the act.
It's not. It's in our constitution. That is in Mkusa constitution.
Yes, it depends on the population.
Yeah.
Depends on the factor. It's normally a factor of 3. That is per also the act. So it is a factor of 3. In other words, you can duplicate it times 2, times 3, or times 4. Now, right now, looking at those representations, it is with the factors of 3, where we have the 3, depends on the numbers, and also balancing all the schools. So, looking at it, we had 3 and 6 for this election.
The minimum
and
was
the last,
3.
The minimum is 3.
For any department or school.
for any department. You see, if you look at that act, it said faculty, department, school, or college.
I'm saying this because there was some concerns from students last semester during elections, which they were asking why.
This semester?
Yeah, actually this semester. So
Yeah.
because they were asking why would we have one delegate representing the whole school or department while we have other 6 representing a very huge department.
Yeah.
Was it not?
No, this thing is a willing involvement. If a person is not willingly involved, then and it does not apply, why should you include that person? For example, if we have one department, let's say journalism, where and only one application is made, we use that one application.
But it is incumbent upon you to ensure
but you cannot force. You cannot force.
Yeah, you can't force.
You can't force.
But it is incumbent upon you to ensure that you facilitate the required number by maybe extension of the period of application, or you could, educate or give information to students on the manner for the reason for these particular numbers to be achieved.
You see, a calendar is made. This calendar is rolled nearly 5 to 6 months before. 5 to 6 weeks before. The calendar should be in place. Okay? At the beginning of the year, you'll find everybody should have known exactly what is his requirement and his. If it is one person, for example, if you take national election, and there's no candidate in a particular constituency, will you go and force them?
You can't force, but you have to extend the deadline for application, because we cannot have a vacancy, which is provided for in the law. For example, like in our case here, it says minimum of 3. So we can have a maximum of 15, but we can't have less than 3.
Now, a minimum of 3 in an ideal situation.
That ideal situation is not easy.
No, it is there in the act. But if somebody has not applied, you can't force him. You can't force the person. The number which is normally given out is so that there is in the college, so that there is a balancing act, such that you don't elect somebody who is not popular, who is not being represented properly. And that's why the electoral college is there. You don't directly elect the candidate. So it is a representation of the larger group or the larger population. Just like if you look at the American constitutional election, normally they have to elect their president. They have to go to electoral college. There must be representation from various constituencies and various states. These people come to electoral college and elect some. But if there is no representation from any state, they are not forced. For example, if you look at in US, places like Dakota, you find some of them are not even interested in those election things.
Okay. So, how many terms can a member of Mkusa Council be able to serve or hold office?
So long as he's a student and can be able to serve the students for a certain period of time, which do not disadvantage, where he can give the service until the next election.
So there is no limitations of number of terms for one to be able to serve?
So long as you are a student, you can still engage yourself and be elected.
Because when I look at the University Minimum Act of 2016, it talks about one shall serve for one term, that's one here, and any other term that he or she may wish to be.
Yeah, that is open. If you look at it, it's open. Anybody can, you can still serve.
But also when we come back to our constitution, this provision that talks about the qualifications, section 48 of official Mkusa candidates, that the students shall be able to serve for one academic year. That's one qualification. It goes further to say that where applicable, if a candidate is due for attachment, he or she shall defer the attachment in writing to the department, registrar, and dean's office. Now, where a candidate may have only 3 semesters remaining for coursework, in which one of the semesters is attachment. Is that particular candidate viable?
If he has got all the needed clearance, where the need he defers this attachment, it is viable.
The reason I'm asking this because we've had cases last year where students who had done exactly what the law dictates were prevented, or they were left out in terms of.
No, I don't think that is right, because one way or the other, they did not. Those students you are talking about, they did not have letters, clearance letters from the registrar, because this thing has to be documented and put in the system, such that in case you change up your mind, they'll remind you. Okay, there's nobody who was, and you look at the vetting committee, which we appointed. There, we had the people from the person from the DVC-ARA, a person from BVC, and also a person from the schools, people from schools, where the combination of the vetting committee are people who could access to the information of any student at any time. They'll give you and they'll tell you so and so has not completed, or so and so is lagging behind, or so and so his attachment might not come at this particular time, so and so is completing next semester. So we had all the information, so you could not actually deviate from the truth by them being vetted out.
First, my question, which I wanted to ask next, whether the position of Mkusa Vice Chairperson is something for ladies, and I got the answer. But still, I have this follow-up question: why do we have dominance in of Secretary General and Finance Secretary positions by the Muslim Association?
That is your choice. It is your choice. It is not. It's not anybody's choice. It is a student's choice. You have made it that way. Let it be that way.
How have we made it that way?
You have chosen them. Was there any administrative hand onto it? No. You decided to elect those particular people as per your choice. And take it from any other logical person, you cannot prevent that. You can prevent it using your ballots, but not using administrative means.
Of course, they understand there can't be any legal aspect or means to prevent it.
Yes.
It's only about maybe because people might be concerned and ask where there is in terms of regional balance, and it was it which we talked about in the previous.
No, let's talk about the present. Who is the chair for this campus?
The tribe or the name?
Who is the chair from which region?
Maasai.
Yeah. The vice?
The vice is Muslim.
No, you are bringing religion. You are bringing religion. Where are they from?
Somaliland? Should I say that?
No. They are these are our students from Northeastern. And Northeastern, you have Marsabit, Mandera, and Wajir. And you find that, just count them. Like the lady comes from, the vice comes from where? Marsabit. Then the other one, the Secretary General, from Mandera. Academics from Rift Valley. And sports, Lower Eastern. Then the entertainment
Mount Kenya
is Central. So there is equity in terms of representation. Personally, I'm very happy about it because it shows that students look at their students in an equal setting.
Could you say
and you know we don't encourage any tribal groupings.
I was coming to because that's where I was coming to because
Yes.
we have associations in the university.
That is illegal.
And you know it's illegal and you've not done anything about it.
No, we have done something about it.
What exactly?
We made up, the university made up through MKU Foundation, if those groups can come together and be funded for the purposes of making a project which is viable and is for the benefit of the university at large. It didn't matter whether you are a group from one particular area or not. You can even invite other people to come in. That university started, it was abused. Now we want to revive it. So that, but on the university way of looking at things and the philosophy behind the formation of this university does not encourage the tribal grouping. But we cannot avoid the fact that we are in a tribal country.
Yes, that is very true. We're a tribal country, and perhaps we should be in a way or the other try to, deviate from from tribal politics. For example, because those associations or tribal groupings are the ones which come up with these particular candidates. So that if we have associations in Western Bloc, we say these are from this particular side, these are from this particular side.
That's very unfortunate Kenyan culture. Very unfortunate. Some of us, you won't know where my daughters are married to Central Province. My son is married to a Mzungu. The other fellows I've been having, my first wife came from Maasai land. And that is the trend we should kill in this country. of thinking tribal. And believe me or not, that family is very successful.
Would you please tell us how you're doing about it, diminishing the tribal groupings here?
First of all, we have not registered any tribal grouping in the university. We encourage you to get into clubs. We encourage you to be in religious groups or any social grouping which is viable. That's why we have controls. We don't allow anything, any group of people, to do any activities unless they have been vetted. And I think you know that.
There is an intention to introduce e-voting in next year's general elections
Yes.
here at the university.
Yes.
Is this initiative in tandem with our constitution and, of course, the University Act of 2016?
The e-voting is using, you know, when you look at the Act is a framework. It's a framework of expectation of what is supposed to be done. The nitty-gritties, like e-voting, comes in as a process on how to get to the end of the whole thing, so that it does not deviate from the Act, does not deviate from the principle or objective of that Act.
Mm-hmm. Briefly tell us how that one will work out.
Is a very simple thing. E-voting, we are now mostly we have e-management, e-commerce. You are using your phones to learn and all that, and that is the trend of what we have to go to. Now, the best way of handling this, which we have already made a proposal, is first of all for the delegates. For the delegates, they are going to use an app. An app is going to be developed for the delegates to use. Then we are going to stream the results. Then from that, we are going to now collectively in the college have a computer for election. Computers for election. That one you cannot do it wherever. You have to come collectively at one place. Just like it is done in many other countries, in some of the democratic countries. Then you elect your person.
So delegates.
But in all these things, the most important thing is security, the cyber security, and also streaming to give results real time and take it from me. It's already been developed, but it is not. The reason why we did not roll it this time is because of piloting and also educating the students. But we have made a plan so that the students are going to be educated. It's going to be piloted, hence we are going to use it next election.
So delegates will still be the same people elected, but not when they vote. They'll be voting from one particular
yes.
room.
Yeah. One particular centralized
room.
Yes.
And then they'll be using the hub, not the ballot box.
No, they are using not the ballot. They are using computers.
Computers.
Yes. The app is for the delegates.
The delegates come.
Where you can do it wherever you are. So you are given a finite, a bounded time, such that if it is between 7 to 6 in a particular day, it is open at 7 and closed at 6. And that one, it is possible. Just like the way voting is being done for let's say, for the musicians, for beauty contests, worldwide. That is what is being used now. So,
but for election of the delegates will be the normal process.
yeah?
Election of delegates.
The election.
Of delegates, yeah. Will be the other normal process that we have.
Not normal process. I've told you that they are going to use up to elect the delegates.
All students.
All students. They are going to download the app, and all students can access the voting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And now the delegates will still use the similar method.
No, the delegates are not going to use the app.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to be put together, collected centrally in the college, electoral college, to vote. We'll provide them with equipment to vote.
What types of equipment?
TV, the computers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Enough computers to manage it.
Mm-hmm. Because I wanted to make it very clear so that we understand how this process will look like. Because talk about students having an app, or students being given time, specific time,
Yeah.
to vote, to cast, to vote, to make their voting.
Yes.
And then delegates, once voted, they will be taken into a centralized room where they'll be provided with equipment, computers,
Yes.
to vote.
Yes.
So the whole process will be electronic,
It is electronic.
right from...
And you see, nobody can vote because that app will give certain security measures that a JQuat student might not vote into our system,
Mhm.
or University of Nairobi. So it will be our students only.
What are some of the advantages of this particular process?
It is foolproof. It is foolproof. And it has been used elsewhere. Not only locally in our universities, but also other universities globally.
Back to our constitution. What are some of the notable achievements that Mkusa constitution has been able to bring about since its promulgation?
One of the things is a stable constitution. It's quite a stable constitution. The other thing, if there are any amendments, it is minimal. It's just to adopt the changing times and the changing situation. Yeah. For example, when we're incorporating the University Act, and also bringing the gender issue, and also trying to put some equity into the Constitution, equity in terms of representation.
Could you say that it has effectively enhanced democracy among students at the university?
I will say that. I'll say that because the loopholes which might be there in the Constitution is not there. Is no longer there. The big loopholes, the gaping loopholes which can bring conflicts, they are no longer there.
I have just one question to go. Tell me please the version hand. And my question will be based on the, not specifically on leadership, but you as the dean of student, you've been here for quite some time. Under your service, what is this one thing that you are proud of?
Service to the students, at least also bringing sanity in student leadership. And unnecessary activism is no longer there.
What is
Unnecessary. Put it this way, unnecessary. Because there are some necessary activism which are there. Then also, the other thing, we have put equity among students, and also we have made leaders become leaders, become both leaders and politicians. Because you can be a leader but not a politician. You can be a politician and not a leader. But if you combine both, you can be a better service to the people you are serving and beyond. Like now, we have quite a number of former student leaders who are now either in national politics or they are serving in terms of leadership position in quite a number of constituencies, a number of counties. Whether you take it from the Rift Valley or in Central or in Nyanza or in Eastern or Northeastern, even Coast. They have diversity. They have diversity.
Let me take you back a little bit. You talked about unnecessary activism. What is this unnecessary activism?
No, I'm saying positive activism and negative activism. For example, if you are here in this university and you are not attending any class and you keep on being there and you are involved into the student politics and you are not attending classes, that is negative, because you have ignored your progression. You are bringing issues for your selfish ends, which at the end of the day is not benefiting the students' community. It is only benefiting you. That is negative activism. Why should we not support a parent for a student being here and completing on time, where this particular student has participated in serving other students as leaders at the same time as completed? Not having a student who will just do politics up to the very end and it does not graduate. And we have seen them. And they are no longer there now.
That's very well. We are almost ending. And I'd like you to, this is your camera. You look at the camera and speak to students just in 1 minute.
A good student is a student who is consistent. A good student is a student who knows what is there for him and there to improve himself. At the end of it all, to go and serve the country with that vigor and the knowledge he has acquired from the university. A student who do not attend classes, that one is a bad student. A student who will involve himself into social problems and forget that he came here for a purpose, for a certain period of time, and he is not bothered, that is not a good student. Let us have students who are able to be in the university, be serious with whatever they are doing, learn from, apart from academics, learn the other things around them, what the university is providing, and be part of it. Be in the team, not a spectator.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, sir, for hosting us in your office. And thank you for creating time with us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best.
You're welcome.
We're done. And that's where we wrap it up on this particular conversation. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for being part of this conversation. We wish that you could be able to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is KBmtv, for some live updates as well as real-time updates. Thank you so much.